Hello, my name is Jean Quintus and I am publishing a new fly every month on my website www.meckejang.lu. You see it there. The fly of the month of January 2011 is a black sedgehog. To tie this fly we will use a TMC 200 Air hook in size 12 or 14. The thread will be black thread, quite fine but not too fine, and 0.8. We'll have a two-component tail made with yellow neon flows and gold pheasant tips. The body will be hair dubbing in color black. The wings will be black deer hair. A fine silver wire will be used for the ribbing, and the hackles will be made with black cock and partridge feather tips. Tie in the thread at some distance from the eye. Then wind it back to the tie-in point. Cut off the excess. Tie in a bunch of partridge feather tips at this point. With two turns, cut off the excess and wind the thread in direction of the eye of the hook in such a way that the feather tips are turning around the hook shank. Leave some space between this end point and the eye of the hook. Then wind it back 2 or 3 turns. At this point we will tie in the cock hackle feather and wind the thread to the curvature of the hook. Cut off the excess of the feather and wind another 2 or 3 turns. Tie in 1 or 2 strands of yellow flows in the curvature of the hook and slightly into the curvature of the hook. Cut off the excess and cut the tail in such a way that we have a very short tail. Tie in a bunch of gold pheasant tippets in such a way that they are a little bit longer than the floss tail, and we will tie them on top of the floss tail. Cut off the excess tie in the ribbing wire twist some hair dubbing on the thread and wind a tag. Take a small bunch of deer hair and tie it in as a first wing. Cut off the excess twist a small portion of hair dubbing on the tying thread and wind it around the hook shank to cover the tie-in point of the first wing. Tie in a bunch of deer hair as a second wing, just in front of the dubbing. Cut off the excess and again we will twist some dubbing to the thread to cover the tie-in point of the wing. And we will tie in the third wing, same as the previous ones, just in front of that dubbing bunch. Cut off the excess. And cover the tie-in point as previously with the black hair dubbing. Now we are ready to wind the ribbing to the front. Just lift all the fibers of the wings, lift them up. Make one turn with the ribbing wire just at the end of the fly, and then through the wings, making sure you do not catch too many fibers. With the ribbing wire. This is quite delicate work. Needs some time to complete. Tie off the ribbing wire and cut off the excess. Now we will tie in the last wing just in front of the dubbing strand. The wing can be a little bit longer than the previous ones. Keep everything well in place, trim off the excess. Now we'll pull back the hackle fibers just by having some tension on the tip and pulling it backwards with our fingers. Wind the hackle, wind 2 turns of the hackle in the tie-in point of the last wing we've tied. And make sure that you pull back every time the feather tips after each turn. That was 3 turns, but that is okay. Leave it hanging there and take the partridge feather tips and move them to the back. And wind another 2 turns with the hackle in front of the partridge tips. Every time pulling back the tips of the feather. Then we'll tie it off. And cut off the excess of the feather. Wind the neat head. And whip finish the head. Add a drop of blackhead cement on the head to secure everything. You can download the detailed tying instructions for this fly and for all the previous ones on my website www.meckejang.lu. Leave a message in the guest book with your email address and I will send you a mail every time a new fly is published. See you and tight lines!